Hey everyone, welcome to my kitchen. For those of you that don't know me, my name's Janice and I'm a Thermomix consultant. So we're coming up to Christmas. We're nearly November. I can't believe we're nearly November. And it's probably going to be November by the time I get this video edited and up on YouTube. So I've already started with my Christmas hampers. So I've made tomato sweet chili sauce. I've made mango chutney. I've still got to make caramelised onion chutney. Now these are videos I've already done, and they're already on YouTube. And I'm going to do my spiced honey ginger biscuits. I don't know what they're called, but there is a video. That's my own recipe, and there is a video for that up on YouTube already. And they're an iced ginger biscuit, a little bit like a honey jumble. So as we go through, I'll tell you what I've cooked and what I'm cooking and what I've already made videos for. And if there's anything that we can make in the Thermomix that I haven't done a video for, I will make that and get it up on the channel before Christmas, hopefully. Today we're doing gingerbread. So I love ginger nuts. Actually, the Woolworths brand is my favourite. The little round, crispy ginger biscuits that you buy at the supermarket. I've always eaten Arnott's, but I found that I like the Woolworths ones better. But what the other thing I also like, now this is not a money saving. They're way cheaper to buy these biscuits at the supermarket. But I also like making this gingerbread and turning it into the little ginger biscuits. Now, cooking time on these determines how crispy they are. Like you cook them like from 8 to 10 minutes it takes for them to bake in the oven. And in that time they go from a really soft, crumbly biscuit to rock hard. So let's jump in. I'm pretty sure the recipe, it's just in my bookmarked favourite ones. But I'm pretty sure it originally came from Festive Flavours, and the very first time I had it was at a cooking demonstration and we ate it with the brandy custard. Now that is delicious, where you make the biscuits and the brandy custard, and so good just to dip and eat. But anyway, but today we're going to make them into a crispier biscuit, and we're going to dunk them in sugar before we bake them to give us that crystallized top that the ginger nut has. So I've already saved the recipe to my week, and if we go up here on our Thermomix screen, we've got 3 little lines, and if we tap on that it'll give us a menu. And mine, the second one down, says my week. So any recipes that I've saved on Cookie Doo to cook today will show up here, and there's only the gingerbread biscuits. So, and we're going to cook them today. So these ones they've got them cut into different Christmas shapes, and they've got a royal icing drizzle or decoration. Now I'm not going to do the royal icing drizzle. And it says to preheat the oven to 180. I'm not going to do that yet because we've got to make the dough and wrap it, and I'm going to wrap it in the thermomat, and we're going to put it in the fridge and let it rest. So next, it says to line 2 baking trays with baking paper and set aside. So I've got 2 baking trays with a silicone liner on. Okay, so now we're going to go on to the dough. So first up, we're going to put 380 grams of plain flour. Now, because I took the lid off, my scale is no longer tared. It's minus 331. So if we tear it, it'll take it back to 0. So we want 380 grams of plain flour. I've got another bag there just in case this isn't enough. Right, we're up to nearly 300 grams. Now, because I'm doing a lot of baking, I would usually give this a rinse out before I tip a new bag of flour in. Or, you know, not every time, but a lot of times. But today, because we are, because I'll be doing a lot of baking, I'm just going to go in with the new bag of flour. So this container takes the full 2 kilos of flour, but you've got to be careful when you put the last bit in, otherwise you make a mess. So I'm not going to fiddle around with that on camera. So I want, what is it, 380. Okay, another 10 grams. Oops, that's a bit over. Let's see if we take a bit out, we can get it down to 380. Okay. Don't know that we can. Perfect. Let's not. Okay, that's 382. That's as close as we're going to get. 1.5 tablespoons of ground ginger. I can't find my ground ginger canister, so it means I've put it in the fridge, or I've put it in the pantry, or I've put it somewhere. So I'll have to dig it up. So I just got these little bags that I buy to refill my canister. It says 1.5 tablespoons of ground ginger. So this is a 1/2 tablespoon measure. Now, we're going to put in 2 tablespoons because I like it a little bit more gingery. So this is a 1/2 tablespoon measure, and they are a little bit heaped. So that was 2 tablespoons of ground ginger, a teaspoon of mixed spice, I'm going to use a 1/2 teaspoon measure because I don't think the teaspoon measure fits in the hole. Okay. 1 teaspoon of bicarb of soda. You know, I thought I was so organised. Right, yeah, so I got the bicarb, and we want a teaspoon of bicarb. Okay, now we've got 100 grams of brown sugar. So I've said this before, but let's say it again. I do make my own brown sugar in the Thermomix, just using sugar and molasses. And this is a bit darker, this one, and it's been made using raw sugar, so it's a little bit coarser than the stuff you would get when you use white sugar. So I want 100 grams of brown sugar, and all it means is it's going to give us a bit of a dark fleck through our dough. There we go. And that's the sort of thing I do, and I lose my spoons and measuring cups because I leave them in things. 150 grams of golden syrup. So I've made my own golden syrup, and I've got a video on where I made brown sugar and golden syrup. Now, the last couple of times I've made the golden syrup, I haven't used it all immediately, and it's crystallised really badly. So I'm not exactly sure what I'm doing wrong, but anyway, I bought some of this. want to dribble. There it is. I'll give that a wipe after. 150 grams of butter. So I went, like this is nearly $8 for half a kilo of butter. I mean, how ridiculous is that? Okay. See, I thought I probably got a bit much cut here, but see how we go. Or maybe not. Let's see. 143. 150, spot on. Pinch of sea salt. Put that away. One egg yolk. So this is supposed to be made with, this has got a royal icing that goes with it, and it uses an egg white. So if I was going to make the royal icing, I would separate the egg, but because I'm not, I'm going to dump the whole egg in because I don't want to waste the egg white. And now we're going to put the lid on. 12 seconds on speed 6. Okay, now we're going to scrape down the sides with our spatula. The lid back on, and 50 seconds on the dough mode. So, I mean, I know I keep saying this, but when you're using the dough mode on any of the models of the TM6, you don't step away. You stay with it and just keep an eye on it. I find having the glider board, it really reduces the amount of bouncing it does, but it still gets a bit of a wobble up every now and then. So I've been on Facebook a long time and follow a lot of Thermomix groups, and the amount of photos I've seen of people's Thermomixes after they've bounced off the, or the most amount of posts I've seen about people who have stepped away and their Thermomix have bounced off, and it's a sad story. Rightio? Now we're going to transfer the dough onto a floured silicone bread mat. Just going to move this to here. To give myself some room. Now, the silicone bread mat is available, it's upside down, is available as a host reward when you host a cooking experience. You can also buy it in the mix shop. But if you host a cooking experience, you do get it at a reduced rate, and it comes in a pack with the silicone baking mat, which I'll show you in a minute. Okay, so we're going to put a little bit of flour on here and just light, and then we're going to knead it up into a nice little ball. Now this makes quite a number of ginger nut biscuits. Probably makes the equivalent of, 3 or 4 packets. Stop. Okay, so let's give this a knead up into a ball. And work into a smooth ball, and then place in a large bowl and cover with plastic wrap. So we're not going to do that, we're going to the dough's a little tiny bit damper than it would be if you hadn't put the egg white in, but I find it doesn't really change the end result very much. Rightio. And then we're going to place it in the fridge for approximately an hour. So while that's doing that, and this is why I wasn't going to preheat my oven just yet, while that's chilling in the oven, what we're going to do is we're going to put a litre of water in here. Oh, hang on. So we're going to go to our home page, the little house that's up the top, scroll across, and we're going to do the pre-clean mode for dough. So I will show you what that looks like when I come back, but I am going to get that happening, put this in the fridge, and then get that happening, and we'll be back when the pre-clean mode finishes. So, okay, so we put a litre of water and 2 drips of washing up liquid in there, and that's just our pre-clean. Now I'm going to walk over to the sink and give it a quick swish out, and I'll come back and show you. Right, now I just ran my brush quickly around my bowl brush quickly around the bowl and tip the water out, and that's what it looks like. So the pre-clean mode I love with all these, because it just really, like, especially when you're cooking a lot and you need to wash the bowl while you're doing something else, It's something else your Thermomix can do for you while you are doing other jobs, and that's to give your bowl a quick rinse out. Rightio, I'll be back when the dough has finished resting in the fridge for an hour, and we'll crack on. So I've had this in the fridge for way longer than an hour because I've got distracted and done other things. But it's still quite a nice soft dough. And we're going to roll it out into, we're going to pull it off a piece at a time. We're going to roll it out into, I don't know, about half a centimetre thick. I need some flour. Now this is a fairly crumbly dough, but it pushes together quite well when it splits. It's not crumbly, it splits really. It's a drier dough. Rightio. Roll it out between two pieces of baking paper. And I'm not going to do that because I never do. Rightio. Now I'm going to put my oven on in a second to preheat. See what I mean? It breaks quite easily, but it rolls out quite nicely. So we want it about that thick. And what I've got is I've got a plate, and I'm going to put some caster sugar on here, and you can make your own caster sugar in the Thermomix. I've got a video on that, but it's just, I'm not sure if it's, I think it's like 10 seconds at speed 8 or 9. I don't know, I just, there's a recipe on there, and I know it's ridiculous using a recipe for that, but I've just got it saved into my favourites, and that way I don't have to think about it too hard. Okay. Now I'm not going to make you watch me do all this dough. It actually makes like quite a lot. So I've got this tray here, and this is the large one. And I just get the biscuit, dip it in the sugar, and put it sugar side up. Now this doesn't spread very far, doesn't spread it, only spreads a little bit, so we can put them quite close together. And I put 2 dozen on each tray, so it's 4 by 6. And then I put them in the oven 8 to 10 minutes until they start to brown at the edges. I put it in 180 degrees. And if you cook them a little longer, then they get a lot crispier. Rightio, I'll be back and I'll show you my trays of biscuits. So I'm not going to make you watch me do all of them. Oops. So, yeah, it says cut them into desired shapes, transfer onto prepared baking trays, and then bake for 8 to 10 minutes at 180 degrees or until lightly browned at the edges. Cooking time will vary depending on the size and shape of your biscuit. And then we're going to allow it to cool for 5 minutes and transfer onto a wire rack. So if you cook them a little bit too much, take them off the baking tray a bit sooner. Rightio, I'll be back when we've got these ready to go into the oven. Okay, I thought I'd show you this. So that's our first tray done, and you can see how close they are together. So we don't want them to spread and touch but they don't spread out too much. And this is the baking mat that comes in the set with this, with the Thermomat, as a host reward for holding a cooking demonstration. So if you have a cooking demonstration and have 2 guests, you are eligible for a host reward. If one of your guests purchases a Thermomix, then you can choose this here as a free gift. But if no one purchases a Thermomix, then you get it at a discounted price. Now this I'm talking about in Australia. So, rightio. So I'm just going to show you this. So that's the crumbs from that last rollout. And I'm just going to pull off another piece and knead it up and roll it out again. And it's quite a delicate dough, but yeah, not too difficult to handle. Just as long as you're aware that it's, it's a bit delicate. And I've also done it, just rolled it out to the size of the Thermomat, and then cooked it as a sheet, and then broken it up into pieces, or cut it up into pieces afterwards. But anyway, I'm going to keep on going until I've got all the dough used up, and then I'm going to put it in the oven at 180 degrees for 8 minutes. I'll check it at that and then decide if I want to put it on for the last 2, but I won't go over 10 minutes because I don't want them rock hard. So my mother had a ginger nut recipe and I can't find it for the life of me. I can't remember what it was, but when I was a young married young mother, get it right, on the property, I used to do biscuits for smokers for the men, and one of the gentlemen that worked for us, he has become a lifelong friend to us, because this is over 30 years ago, 40 years ago even. And these ginger nuts, and he used to tell me, because everyone dunked their biscuit in the tea, and he used to say mine weren't dunkers, they were soakers, because you had to soak them for a fair while in the tea, so you didn't break your teeth when you were eating them. So, but they were very tasty, but if you overcooked them, they were rock hard. So rightio, I'll come back once these come out of the oven. Well, not so much. Once these are cooled enough, and I'll show you what they look like, and we'll give them a taste. Rightio, so we've ended up with about 5 dozen of these biscuits. Now, I cooked these for the 8 minutes. These ones are still a bit warm. These are the ones that came out first. And you can tell on the bottom, see how they're quite browned on the bottom. So they're still a little bit warm. You can cook them longer if you want them. And where's the camera there? If you want them a little bit crisper. But these are quite a soft biscuit at the moment. They will harden up a bit as they get colder, but I added extra ginger to this recipe. It really lifts the gingery flavour, just adding that extra half a tablespoon. The recipe also contains at the end the recipe for the royal icing. If you want to cook these, and then I should have cooked some to a really crisp. I didn't think of that. But if you do them for the full 10 minutes, they get a little bit darker, and they're like really hard, crunchy. But anyway, at the end of the recipe there is the royal icing, where they use the egg white to make the royal icing, and then you do a drizzle or pipe decorations or whatever on the biscuit. But anyway, thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, could you please give it a thumbs up, pop over to my channel and subscribe, and I really hope I'll see you next time.